let's get right into this. So obviously we had some additional news today about the goings-on of Gina Carano being released from Star Wars and Mandalorian and Lucasfilm and yada, yada, yada. As I said last week when this first broke, this sounded fishy. I didn't like the way this was presented. We had a singular anonymous source that was then repeated at length through a multitude of various media outlets, none of which was attached to any kind of official press release statement from either Disney or its subsidiary Lucasfilm. And it was that night that, and the day or two following that I made mention that I felt like this was something that Lucasfilm had pulled the trigger on, likely on their own. That this was probably not run up the flagpole, that this was something that had been, and I think this had been rumored for quite a while, and I don't think it was a secret, and I think this has been discussed at length in various other great channels on YouTube that I follow, to where, they had been trying to get rid of her for some time, and they were looking for any excuse possible. I think this was something that was done as an isolated incident just within Lucasfilm. I don't think this went up the flagpole, but knowing what we know about Disney being a company that, much like the NFL when they want to protect the shield, as they have, they do not come out and make a lot of statements about the intricacies of how things go down inside closed doors. So with this, I think Disney is probably at this point, we're probably not going to hear anything further from them. I suspect we will see a good bit of time pass before anything comes out, if ever. And if they do ever try to bring Gina Carano back into the fold, if the fan demand is high enough, and I encourage everyone to keep the pressure up to have that happen because she deserves to be there. She was one of the most beloved characters of this new genre, new generation of Star Wars that we've had, and I think this was a huge mistake, because lying about what she said or what she did is, I think, the real knife in the back, not only to Miss Carano, but also to fans that know better. People that can easily see on their own what was going on. So here we had a statement made by Gina today to Miss Barry Weiss. Hopefully I got that name correct. I apologize if I did not. But in a statement to this blogger, basically Gina confirms what was greatly suspected, and that was that she was not in the loop on this. She had no forewarning. There had been no previous conversations leading up to this. We can say what we want about the post. Here's what Gina posted. She makes comments that some of the things that she saw on Twitter and Instagram weren't even in relation to the post that she had made herself. Look, that mob, that SJW mob, once they paint a target on your back, there's no getting it off. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You can do nothing right at that point. Once that target is painted on your back, it doesn't matter. They're there to exterminate you from culture. And that's all they want. There's no conversation to be had. There's nothing else to be discussed. There's nothing else to be talked about. It's once that target is on your back, you are persona non grata. That's it. You are a non-existent individual. And this is what's dangerous. And this is what Miss Gina Carano found out this past week. But if you look at what she actually stated in this article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing out, it's just unnecessary, but basically what she says is she found out when we did. She found out when the articles were hitting Variety and IO9 and Deadline and all these other things, and that is pure crap. Just to show the level of disrespect that Lucasfilm, the hierarchy of Lucasfilm, had for this woman. I don't think that includes Jon Favreau. Do not think that includes Dave Filoni. When I talk about the hierarchy of Lucasfilm, I am speaking directly to and about Kathy Kennedy and her story group. and the garbage that they have been putting out and that they're allowed to get away with, making actual very offensive tweets to 75 million Americans and entire races and skin colors of American citizens. They can say all that. That is okay in Lucasfilm's book. But for Gina Carano to make a joke about using pronouns in her bio, and look, for the record, I'm not on Twitter. I don't care about Twitter. But when I saw that she had put beep bop boop in there, I thought it was funny because she's a Star Wars actress, and I thought she was using droid pronouns, like she was making an R2 unit joke. Beep bop boop. What are your pronouns? Oh, well, I'll be a droid. It's cute. But no, we have people these days that are just so hot-headed and have no sense of humor, and people that just wake up in the morning looking for reasons to be offended by anything, and it's disgusting. And for some reason, we are allowing these people to dictate terms to society these days, and it's just sad. But I would encourage everybody to go check this out. Just real quickly, I found the link today. I know a lot of people have been talking about it, but Drunk 3PO had posted this link and had a video today. I would encourage all of you guys to go check out Drunk's channel, check out Drunk 3PO's video on it earlier. Obviously, he has a personal friendship with Gina, so I'm sure that they have spoken as much as Gina can at this point. Obviously, when situations like this arise, as I've stated in previous videos, legal counsel for Gina would get involved and probably advise her to, hey, this is what you should say right now, this is what you shouldn't. And again, they're looking out for her best interest to make sure that she can get her message across in the most effective manner possible without damaging her career and without, having her go through any more issues. And look, here's the thing at the end of the day, and I said this again in a previous video, Disney may at some point still come crawling back to Gina Carano. I will tell you right now, probably the merchandise sales that they've lost from her, because she was a very popular merchandise character, that's for sure. I can tell you I went on eBay last night and spent a couple $100 picking up a copy of Gina Carano's Cara Dune Star Wars Black Edition figure and some of the other figures out there as well. I picked up an Ahsoka Tano, but again, bought it through eBay. I bought it through resale. I bought it through other sellers. I'm not sending the money to Disney anymore. I'm not going to buy it from a retailer because that's going to Hasbro, which is in turn going to Disney, directly. I realize still purchasing it, I'm buying a product, that Disney is at some point down the road making money on. But I'm at least trying to make the effort not to have that money go directly to them at this point, because a message does need to be sent. And as I've said before, respectful messages in the public domain in terms of the free market should be sent by voting with our wallets. And that's the best way to do it. That's the best way to vote. That's the best way to get your voice across to companies, whether you like or dislike what they're producing. And I do agree with the fact that, shutting Disney off entirely is number one, difficult for almost anybody because they have their fingers in so many different avenues. But most importantly, it's important that we support the things that Disney is doing right, for whatever little that may be, and not support the things they're doing wrong. Because the strongest message to get across to companies like this at this point is to let them know, with money, with your wallet, this is what's working, this is what isn't. That's what gets the strongest message across. And I want everybody to please understand that. Because if we really want to save pop culture, if we want to save Star Wars, if we want to make this better, that's the way to go. Now, at some point, they may, like I said before, they may come crawling back to Gina, asking her to return. And Gina, at that point, will have two options. And it will be, one, to tell them, no, you've done me wrong. I don't feel comfortable coming back. Thank you. I appreciate the time I was here. I thank you for all the opportunities you've given me. But I'm moving on to bigger and better things at this point. Option B is that she does come back after some time. Because why? Not because she, doesn't think that Disney did anything bad to her or anything like that, but because she loves her fans. And Gina knows that she has a lot of fans, and Star Wars fans specifically, that still would love to see her back. And I think, I don't know Gina Carano personally. I don't proclaim to. Obviously, there's some folks out there on YouTube who do. But I think I know enough about her character at this point from what I've personally seen, what I've seen online, what I've seen from her. She's a very genuine soul. And I think maybe part of her would be open. That if Disney were, if Disney wanted to try to make amends at some point down the road, and it's not going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen next week, it's probably going to be 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, because Disney would let something like this quiet down before they dove back in. Because at the end of the day, Disney, they don't like to admit fault. They don't like to admit failures. They don't like to admit mistakes. That's how they have always been. They just kind of sweep it under the rug and then move on. Think of the James Gunn situation. That went on for a while, and then a year later they quietly kind of brought him back in. But I think Gina might consider coming back because I think she knows she's got a lot of fans here, and she's got a lot of people that love her, and I think she loved doing the character. I think she loved doing the show, and I don't think that she would just turn that part of her life off out of spite. I do think that if Disney tried to put handcuffs on her, forcing her to say this or say that, or do this or do that, or not say this, and I don't think she'll play that game. I think that's been made clear at this point. And if Disney were to try to put those shackles on her, that would be their mistake. So we'll see what happens. Let's keep our eye on this. But like I said last week, something was very fishy about this. Something did not work. And this article today with the brief interview with Gina seems to confirm what I thought last week, that this was out of left field. There was no prior warning, and that it came in the dead of night from Lucasfilm. And like I said, the most bizarre part about this was, it was 18 hours before their investor conference call. So I think there's more to this story, and I know that there has been some rumors out there that somebody from Lucasfilm may have deliberately leaked this ahead of time, like they were going to do this after the investor call, which frankly makes a lot more sense than doing it right before. But here we are. So keep your eyes peeled on this. I know I will. And, I'll be back when I think there's something new and better to talk about at this point with this Gina story. But it's a shame to see all that goodwill Lucasfilm had built just 5 weeks ago with the return of Skywalker, and then just lit it all on fire with this. What a mess. Take care.